Anything one surprise cannot bring. Opened up my mind to you, what you mean to me. That's not easy, baby girl, it's not easy. Girl went to me to be with me. What can I do for you? Anything one surprise cannot bring. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide. Damn, why I'm asking every day, what can I do for you? Oh yeah. Anything one surprise cannot bring. Opened up my soul to you, what you mean to me. That's not easy, baby girl, it's not easy. Damn, why I'm asking every day, what can I do for you? Oh yeah. Anything one surprise cannot bring. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign. Wait for a sign. From the window wide, wait for a sign.
All right, welcome to the Ska Crazy podcast. I'm here right now via Skype with Keith Duncan of the Shifters. How you doing, man?
What's up, dude?
Okay, this is our second take because it wasn't recording, so.
We lost like 5 minutes of audio, so we'll try this again. You know what? You can start with the first question. I told him I didn't want to do the question over again because I'd already elaborated so much, and I don't even know if I want to go into that much detail again. So, all right, here we go.
Okay. How did you first get introduced to like ska and reggae?
I was first introduced. I went to a show in like the early to mid '90s of like No Doubt and Sublime. It was at the Showcase Theater in San Diego. It's no longer. There's actually a parking lot. I forgot about that. They tore it down. But yeah, it was World Beat Center, and then turned into a place called the Showcase Theater. Yeah, so the interesting thing is I used to tape radio shows. I've been obsessed with talk radio before I was even obsessed with music. And so I would listen to Loveline, because I was like, 14, 15 years old, and it was only broadcast in LA. And No Doubt was on, and everybody was talking about how hot Gwen was. And then they were talking about the shows that were coming up, and they said that there was they were going to play San Diego. I was about 15 at the time, maybe 16, and so they listed the date, and so then I figured out where the place was, and I stole my mom's car and I went down there, and I was just totally enthralled with like this tiny little place that holds like 75 people, and it was packed to the gills. And this kind of seemingly happy music and everybody kind of going crazy, and I was kind of an outcast in school, so it was like that was like the place for me. That was like the place to be. And that was my first like introduction into, ska and reggae. I mean, besides like, the stuff that my brother listened to, like Oingo Boingo and the English beat and stuff like that.
Okay, now I found a thing that you wrote online about kind of almost paying homage to Ocean 11 being a huge influence on you back then, and kind of changing your preference of, like, I guess, the ska style to a more traditional and older sound.
Yeah, and like back then, like you go to a record store, and you could listen to CDs. So it was more of a CD store type of thing. So it was this little crap hole in the wall place, but the guy would let you listen to new CDs, and so I instantly became a ska fan overnight. Somewhere in like 93, 94, and I was listening to all this, and so you go and you pick out a compilation, because that was like the easiest place to start. And
right.
So you go and listen like 2 or 3 tracks of the compilation. Like if something kind of caught your ear, like bam, $10, no questions asked. And so I was piling up all these CDs, and I found like I was kind of getting like kind of bored, because it was even back then, and even probably kind of like a foreshadow of what was to come, is that like third wave, and I'm sorry, I mean there are really good third wave bands, but that style can become very monotonous really quickly. So I was finding that all this stuff kind of started to sound the same to me, and I was getting bored. But one of the compilations was Tazy Phillips' "Step on It," and it was a song there that I mean, I just heard it the first time, and I totally fell in love with it. Like it floored me. It was so amazing, And there's oh shit, I can't remember the name of it now. The Best of Love.
Okay.
Yeah, it was such a good song, and it sounded like it had like this sound to it, and I was like, well, what's that sound? Like, what is that? It's like, how are they doing that? That's like, it's so cool. I mean, it sounds old, but it's I guess it's ska. Like, what is this? And so that kind of set the journey. And there was other good songs on that album too. If I remember right, the C Spot was on there, and I liked that. And so that compilation was kind of got me more interested in the newer bands playing traditional music. And so from there, and then you keep going to the record store, and you keep going for that sound now, instead of just the pop stuff. And then you start finding the Hepcat and this and that. But and then I got Ocean 11 CD, and just as fantastic as the 2 songs that were on the compilation. It's the best ska album that's ever been put out. I mean, even though it's mostly not ska, it's rocksteady and reggae, but it's the best thing to ever come out of the 90s.
Okay, now I guess towards the latter part of last year, you got to do like a mini tour with Queen P. I know I remember seeing Steve from Duff Guide to Ska posted videos from like a New York show, and I remember that was actually the first time I had heard of you guys.
Right.
Was when he posted them, but was that sort of like a almost like a dream come true kind of a thing to be able to do that? Or?
It's okay. It's weird because like I have a hard time like biting my tongue. Like I'm usually fairly candid, so I'm not really like the most nostalgic person. I know it sounds weird because I like playing older styles of music, but I don't necessarily want to relive. I don't get sentimental too often. But that doesn't mean that I don't like have like an immense amount of respect for who's ever influenced me then and who influences me now, and so it was we were having a hard time with Blue Beat. So to tell the story, so this is what happened. We were having kind of a hard time with Blue Beat, and we had a rough couple of months where and actually we're in another dry spell, it seems like, but we were only getting just a few dozen people through the door. And Michelle, DC Ska Girl, Michelle Chin, my partner, and really the brains and brawn behind Blue Beat. I'm just the loudmouth. And she's like, your birthday is coming up. Let's do something. Like do something big. Like do something, kind of think outside of the box. Because I'm despite the way I portray myself in written form, I'm really not that egotistical of a person, so like I have a hard time like, of doing that, like showing off. So I went home and I wrote down a list of bands that I would like to see, and most of them, don't exist, or this, like, I can't do this, can't do that, for whatever reasons. And I wrote down Ocean. I did have Ocean 11 on the list, and I started thinking about it, like, what if I just get like P out here, like let's just do like a 1-date thing at Blue Beat. It'll be my birthday thing, that hopefully will attract people. And, I did get to see Ocean 11 once, but I never really got to see them in their heyday. So, and like, it would be really cool to like kind of do that. And let's just do this once. And then, P is like, well, let's, so I contacted Persephone, and we've been friends. So it's not like, calling up a complete stranger and like, hey, can my, part-time band, back you. It was, I had kind of groveled and said, I really, 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 really appreciate this, and P, I love you, and can come out here and do this. And she had no questions that she'd never heard my band, didn't even want to hear it. She's like, here are the songs I want to do. The only thing I was a little apprehensive on was, she wanted to do a tour out of it, which is what we did. So we toured, I think, 3 or 4 dates up the East Coast, and that was it was interesting. Although, it was kind of like a beautiful mess. Because I've gone on like well-organized tours before. It really wasn't that well-organized. It was calling in favors and doing everything at the last second. But it was a lot of fun. Kind of tiring too. It's tough being on stage because we were doing shifter sets beforehand, so we were on stage like 2.5 hours.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah. That was like that's like I've never done that before. And it's hard, So it's hard, keeping focus like that. And then it's also hard because you're playing other people's music, and it's not as organic. So but I love doing it. I probably won't ever do a tour like that again. But yeah, that was awesome, and I love Persephone. She's the best. She has the best. One of the best voices, in music. Period. And we're so lucky that she, this is the style that sings to her, and it completely changed my life. And so she changed my life back then when she didn't know me, and she got to change my life again, 15, 20 years later. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, now in there you mentioned Blue Beat, the Blue Beat DC.
Mhm.
It's a club that you started,
Yeah.
I guess. Is it an actual like venue itself, or is it sort of like Django does the Version City parties and just kind of?
Yeah, it's a well, yeah. I guess it's the best way to put it. I've never been to a Version City party. I keep promising Jeff I'm going to get up there, and I don't. I guess it makes me a liar. But yeah, no, like with the Blue Beat thing, when I was getting started, because I mean, I had. It's not like I've been playing music this whole time. I was in the Navy for almost 10 years, and I wasn't playing. So from high school, you know, a marching band, till like I was like 27, 28. I didn't really play. So when we got the band, you know, when somebody asked me to play in a band, and I started playing again, and you know, worked my way up or back up to you know, at least a mediocre level. You know, we started, you know, going more, you know, going to shows in LA and stuff, and there was this thing called Blue Beat Lounge. It was run by Chris Murray, and Blue Beat Lounge was this at the time, I think it was bi-weekly, like on Wednesday nights or something, and the small room in the Knitting Factory in LA, which is gone now, he would host. It was just a hosted night, you know, kind of like what I do now, and it was the greatest thing, man. Like it was really, really great, because that not only did, like, it was a place, like, it didn't matter what kind of ska or reggae you were doing. If you sent Chris an email, he would eventually get to you and put you know, give you a slot.
Right.
You know, and it was where you could see, you know, members of C Spot and Hepcat and all my, you know, favorite West Coast bands. Like, you could see them, you know, they would either be in the audience, or sometimes they would be doing kind of experimental stuff at Blue Beat. And there was another place, and so there's that, you know, over there. And then it's also this place where new bands could actually get some exposure, get some stage time, you know, cut their teeth, you know. So it's just like this really great thing, and it kicked back up the ska scene, because the ska scene was dead.
Right.
It died really hard in LA and Southern California. I mean, like 2000 to 2004. Well, maybe that's a little too late. But yeah, but in the early 2000s, man, it was rough. There weren't any shows. So this thing comes along, and it created, you know, it gave people an excuse to go back out. It was an outlet for younger bands, and also for, you know, for younger bands to be around the older bands that knew what they were doing. So that was great. That was an amazing thing. It's gone now. That well, I wouldn't say it's gone, but, like, you know, Chris doesn't, because the Knitting Factory closed down in LA. He didn't really, I don't think, and I might be speaking, you know, over my head, but I don't think he actively looked to find another place to have it. And it was maybe because it was just like it was such a perfect storm, because it's some of it's hard to explain, but yeah, it was just such a perfect place, and he did it for so long. To try to maybe rebuild that somewhere else might have been a little tough. I mean, because I mean, there was a bar, but it was all ages, and you know, it was such a great experience every time I went. So fast forward, so I'm sure you're asking, like, how did that happen here? Well, anyways, what happened was I moved out here, and there wasn't anything like that. So I called Chris and I said, "Would you mind if I do this?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, absolutely, that'd be great. Just don't call it the Lounge." So, you know, Michelle and I, you know, put our heads together and we'll say, you know, we'll call it Blue Beat DC. And so, you know, we're going into 3 years here, but yeah, it's about 2.5 years into it now, and, you know, going strong. We have our lulls and definitely some high highs, but you know, if you send me an email, I'll book your band. You know.
Very cool. I was actually going to ask, like, I don't know how it is in DC. It seems like there's more of a scene down there. Like, up here in Philly, there's really not many bands that aren't, like, you know, like you said, cutting their teeth. So,
well,
when there is a show, that you get a lot of, like, you know, you go to a show and it's the bands, and they're like very inner circle, and that's who's like watching you play is like the band that's going on next and stuff like that. It's kind of discouraging.
And well, we get that too. It depends. Like right now, I if I can complain, and I'm going to, is that we're in the last couple of weeks we've been like kind of onslaught with shows, and I'm making it to all of them. In fact, the only one I'm not going to is because it's sold out. And again, maybe not my most favorite band is Less Than Jake. That's happening tonight. Last night I had your boys in from Pennsylvania. And it was a great show, and there was only like 15, 20 people there, which is discouraging. And so then you had Agrolites Monday night, and that should be huge too. And it felt a little underwhelming. So it's like everybody complains when there's no shows, but then when there's shows, nobody shows up, and that's kind of, that is DC. Like it's a fickle place. It seems, a lot of times, and this is, generalizations will get you in trouble, but it seems a lot of times the people who are most passionate about it are usually not from here.
Okay, I'm gonna take a little break right now and go into a song off the Init.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah,
EP.
awesome.
I'm gonna play "Dance with You."
Okay, cool.
I don't know. Maybe you had something to say about that. If not, I'll just.
No, I got it, man. I hope you dig it.
All right, we'll be right back.
Dance with you, baby. I want to with you, baby. I wanna dance with you, baby. I want to dance with you tonight.
Okay, that was Dance With You off the new EP, In It, by the Shifters. I'm here right now with Keith Duncan. I have a self-titled EP from,
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess, a couple years back that song is also on.
Yeah.
Difference being female vocals
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole thing. I was wondering, who is that? And I don't hear that in the new one.
Yeah, that's that.
Is that just like a different version of the band?
Yeah, that was like Shifters 1.0. Anybody that knows anything about us, we've experienced a lot of lineup changes in the last last year and a half. Yeah, we had originally had a female lead singer, and we let her go about a year and a half ago, and it wasn't under the best terms, which sucks. I personally, I still think she's great, but it's just it wasn't, it's band politics, and it. No matter what anybody says, it's not a sexist statement. But when you have mixed sexes in a band, it is a different dynamic, and I think that's probably all I'm going to say about that without getting in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still a sensitive subject, which sucks. I wish that all parties involved, and it's not just her. I mean, we've if you look at the lineup, this band as it is now has really only existed since maybe around August of last year, and between January last year and August of last year, we probably had about between 5 and 10 people come and go, and sometimes it was a temporary fix. I mean, I basically called up some of the guys in the pie taste, just like, please come, just practice with us so we can keep going. And there were times where me and Manolo kind of like, we're sitting in a car after practice, like, if we make it past next week, it'll be a miracle. And, somehow we're still here. And, so we're kind of like on Shifters, like, 2.5 now, I think. And no signs of stopping. So that's good,
When did you guys actually start up?
It'd be the summer before last. So we're going on 2 years. It feels in some ways it feels like it's been a lot longer than that. But yeah, about 2 years. Yeah.
All right, now I want to get into some of the more recent stuff you're doing and working on. You played a part. I did an episode a couple weeks back with Brian from the Big Ska Gamble. You have that project going on. You guys are releasing the 7-inch.
Yeah.
Through there.
Mm-hmm.
How did you and Brian actually hook up and?
Yeah, Brian.
Involved with that.
Yeah, no, Brian's a cool man, a cool dude, man. Like it's so weird because anytime somebody asks you to do something, you immediately think that you're going to be taken for a ride. But Brian is so fucking genuine. Like, he's so genuine. Like when he first told me about this idea, I was like, "You're crazy." Not like you're ska crazy. No, this part of me is like, I was really, I hate to not trust somebody and not take them at their word, but it's like I don't understand what his motive is here. I mean, like, because he hit me up right as we were putting the finishing touches, I think, on recording this. That seems about right. And so, and I'm dealing with our record, and our Kickstarter, and getting all that ready. And so he wants to do this thing, and it's like he wants to do it with our band, which is great and that's fantastic. But he wants to do it now with like 6 bands and 6 releases. Like, dude, That's right. For me at that moment, I was like, that's 5 too many for me. But yeah, he hit me up. He hit me up about wanting to do this club, and it's something I wanted to be part of. Lawless's the first club, well, it's not the first because that's not true, but the first more geared towards traditional music, which was the Moondust 7 inches. And timing just didn't work out there, and those releases are great, by the way. Which Ocean 11 is part of. But yeah, like it just didn't work out. So I wanted to do it, but I also didn't want to be part of something that might like fail, And even though when you fail at Kickstarter, you don't lose any money or anything, but I didn't want that feeling.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that stigma. And I also get the feeling sometimes that there are people who, when you're going from the band who used to, just get, drunk and play loud, to a band who's trying to actually come up with a sound, I almost get the feeling like there's some people who don't want to see that happen. So to see the failure publicly, would only they would get some sort of real glee out of that, and so and you don't want that stigma attached to your band, and even though I knew I could have it, and then also doing the numbers, it's like I could release the 7-inch myself. So I was a little shy about talking with the guys about it, and we were like, well, this and that, but the deal he's offering us is really great, and we just have to promote, and we're good at that. But then I went and Brian was online and I was online. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning my time, and so we're talking about it, and I started checking out the bands, and I was like, this is like, I listen to everything, and these bands are very dynamic from each other, and there's some of them, in my opinion, of course, that are better than others, but this guy went so out of his way to try to do something that was not typical. Like, he could have just went a traditional route. He could have just tried to appeal to the high school and third wave kids or whatever.
Yeah.
But to actually kind of these bands are good, and that was and nobody's ever heard of them before. So it's like, and my band I think is fairly good, and we're just starting to get a name for ourselves. So it's like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Like, this is a great idea, and I became an instant fan of Lockstep overnight. Like, I was like, these guys are just, again, because they drew on so many different influences that I love, and again, like a band I never would have found on my own, and I knew about the Georgetown Orbits because their last release was so good. But yeah, so you and then the other, and then Do It With Malice and these bands, so you're hearing this stuff, and it's like, even though there's no link to each other, that is kind of the link, and it's like, that's right. So like, and so here's this one guy who just loves all this, and he's so genuine, he really wants to do it. How could you say no? So it's like, and I was, damned and determined, like, we'll make this happen. And then seeing how well our Kickstarter was doing, I knew that we would be able to at least contribute something towards getting closer to that goal. So yeah, I was, we saw, it was, like I said, so we started off a little bit timid about it, but then, once I started to talk to Brian, it was definitely going, and I can't, I wish there were more people like that out there. Because it's tough. Like, he's not doing it for egotistical reasons. He just genuinely loves this.
Yeah.
And that's a weird thing, because it doesn't really have. Music is very, it doesn't matter who it is. It's almost like when political guys get on the radio and they say it's not about me, it's about the message. Bullshit. It's about you. So and to say like, oh, it's not about me, like, I'm not gonna be that asshole, like, oh, it's not about how awesome I am. It's about how the music, like, no, there's a lot of ego involved there. But when this guy, like, when he says like he's doing this for the music, he really is. And so I wish there was more people like that, who were that into whatever it is that they're into, because it really is selfless. The guy killed himself to get these records done.
Yeah, I was worried. I was worried there for a little bit that it wasn't going to make it, and then at the end,
Yeah, no,
I was real happy when I saw he made the goal. I was like, oh, awesome.
Yeah, I felt real, and it you know, going through it, you know, myself, because, you know, I did our Kickstarter, you know, well, I should say I did it, but I kind of ran the campaign, and there was the 2 or 3 of us that were really actively involved. It is like the best feeling in the world when you like see that number like click over, like, wow, you know, like, oh shit, like this you know, this dream is now going to happen. And
I kind of said this to Brian when he was doing the doing his Kickstarter thing. It's kind of a nutty idea to. First of all, ska doesn't really have the commercial acceptance it once had, and then to decide to do it on vinyl. On top of that, it's just there's something a little. I mean, it's a little. It almost sounds like a bad idea if you're not like that person that really loves this music and like, you know, I want to go buy the vinyl because I have a record player because I'm that old, you know. But
I think the choice to go vinyl, though, is actually, I mean, throw out the concept of digital versus analog. I mean, people are going to argue about that all day long. You know, I think the choice to go to vinyl is kind of easy, even beyond that, because it puts value back in the product. And I know it's not necessarily the way you want it to be valued, but records, people who buy records put value in what they're buying.
Right.
You know, and we're now in an age where like 99-cent downloads, like, at that point, I'm sorry, like, it's like, oh, well, look how cheap it is. Well, on the other side, you can say it's so cheap, you're not really hurting anybody by stealing it. So, you know, I mean, You could play devil's advocate with all day long, but it's so easy to steal. It's so easy to get to. You know, there's no physical product to go with it. So, to me, like, people seem to be interested in vinyl. I know there's been a resurgence from what I read. People seem to be interested in it. So, that to me, it's like a no-brainer. Like, I mean, I remember as a kid, and I had my record, like you know, my English beat records and stuff, and you would look at it and remember that, like, that's all you knew about the band. You know, it's like, is that record label. So, you know, you'd study the art, you'd read all the names on the back. You know, if you got a first pressing, you had the lyric sheet that came with it, you know, and stuff like that. So, like, I don't know, like, I mean, that, even though, you know, I'm playing, I guess I'm a hypocrite because I said I'm not that nostalgic. I love that idea. And I think people, when they see something big, you know, that has weight, that there's more value placed on it. It's more of an experience. You know, going to fucking the Apple Superstore and hitting a button and charging off 99 cents on your credit card or on your account is not the same.
Yeah, it's kind of there's kind of like a weird gap between generations too, like.
Right. That
I notice. Like, I have nephews, I mean, I have children that are are raised knowing nothing but like the digital age, and like they don't remember a time when like you used to buy a CD and take it home, and you would know that CD well.
Yeah.
Because you would take it home and it would live in your CD player for as long as it takes. And like I still kind of have that approach to when I listen to music, whether it be digital or whatever. Right. It's kind of weird. Like, if I get like a whole bunch of music, most of it's just going to get looked over. I mean, it even does get like that now. Like, it's too easily available. There's so much that it just loses its value of, like, at the end of the week you get your paycheck. You go and you buy like 2 CDs, and then you're like, oh, I got my new soundtrack to life for. Yeah,
at least you know, and if it sucks, oh well, in 2 weeks I'll get another paycheck. But if it's awesome, you know, it's gonna be part of my life. You know, like, you know, that 2 months in 1996, I'll never forget this CD because of that. That shit's gone, man. That's you know, and in the oh shit, man, I'm kind of punch drunk. Like I don't know, like I think, well. The other thing too, though, is, you know, going back to like the with us, you know, specifically putting out the 10-inch, is that no matter how you slice and dice it, people into reggae and you know, more traditional types of ska are more prone to buy records anyway.
Yeah.
So like there is kind of a built-in audience that we kind of like, you know, when we're drumming up our plan, it was like, you know you're gonna get X amount of people anyways. So that helped kind of sway the younger guys in the band, because they were like, dude, why don't we just put out a CD? It's like, well, I'll give you an interesting scenario. Like, if you put out a CD, to me, it's like, if you put out a CD and like a car full of 5 people show up to your show, and one guy buys a CD,
all those 5 people have it.
The other 4 people, yeah, exactly. Well, I don't have 5 friends, so I don't know. Theoretically, 4 people are going to, if they were thinking about buying that CD, they're not thinking about it anymore. You know, and so there's that, and then so now it's so effing easy, because and you know what, like I do it too. Everybody does it. So, you know, I get that. And then you lose right then. You're losing right then. And I'm not trying to make money off of this. I just want my product and whatever to sustain. So you lose right then, but then a month later, it's on some Russian share site. So then nobody's buying your CD. So you have like this 1 month period to sell how many CDs that you press, and all this time and energy that you put into it, and then it's completely devalued and worthless. So
you're right. Then you're going to depend on selling them at a show if you're lucky.
Yeah, and you know, like, you know, my last, you know, my former band, the Amalgamated, like, you know, they just came out with a CD, and I was like, dude, like, you bet, like, you know, and Reggie, the guitar player, is like, yeah, you know, like, and we were kind of having a similar discussion. I was like, dude, you get those things off of your back. Because it even happened with us in the Shifters. Like, that EP, it was on a share site 3 weeks later, and then nobody bought our CD anymore. You know, and we only pressed like maybe like 100, 150, but the last 50 we couldn't move. And it's not you know, it's not terrible. Like, it's, you know, it's not like, you know, people got wind that the CD sucks. It's just that when it's that easy to get to, there it is. You know, I have a hard time, you know, wanting to put out a CD, no matter how much pressure people put on me to do it. It's like, I feel like I'm part of the problem if I do that.
Let's say somebody orders the 10-inch or something. Do you have like a download code for them to also have it digitally, so they don't have to actually?
I got those again. You know, begrudgingly, I didn't. Didn't want to do it, but I was like, fuck it, like, you know. And so if you come to the show, or if you buy the record, you know, more than likely I'll have like a QR sticker that you'll be able to pull digitally. But, you know, buy the record. That's all I'm saying. Just buy the record. You know, it's cool looking anyways, you know.
Okay, I want to get into talking about it in just a minute. I want to cut to another song off the record.
Mm-hmm.
This one's called "Let's Dance," and we'll be right back.
Watching now. Let's dance, 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 like nobody's watching now. Tonight to dance, your troubles far away. Dance, dance. Tonight to make some more mistakes with me, yeah. Dance, dance. Let's dance. Watching now. Just forget it. Stealing so easy. It's okay to let go now. watching now. Tonight to dance, your troubles far away. Tonight to make some more mistakes with me, yeah. Let's dance, 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 like nobody's watching now. Just forget it. Still it's so easy. It's okay to let go now. Oh, hey. Just forget it. Still it's so easy. It's okay to let go now. Oh, hey.
Okay, and we're back. All right, the 10-inch is called In It. You sent it to me, and I swear to God, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Like just because I'm talking to you right now, like it has been my constant background music for the past. I don't know how many days it's been since you sent it to me, but I've been in kind of like a ska and reggae lull, needing something that's new and good, and it just hit the spot like a.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I guess when I talked to you the other day, you said that you were getting a shipment of like the pressing in. I guess you said today at some point.
Yeah, it was supposed to be today. Well, it's supposed to be like a week ago. So every day I call up, it's like, oh, it's out the door, and you'll get it in 2 days. And then like day goes by, and like they get no email. And it's like the next day, so I'm not gonna call out who I should call out, but like it's like and not that I don't know if all 20 people listen to your show are gonna go lynch them, but it's like this is it's really driving me nuts, man. I want my records.
Now, how are
actually I have a question.
For a listener?
How many people listen to this? I mean, just out of curiosity.
I don't really have a good gauge. I can go on to Podomatic and it'll tell me like how many people have played or downloaded it, and it's usually somewhere between like 90 and 120 with each episode, and that really depends on the episode too. Like I've had a couple where I've done like a local band that like really only I knew, and so that got like a the 30 of us that know them, they listen to it.
No, I gotcha, man.
But yeah, I according to Facebook, I have like 390 something fans. So I mean, I honestly don't think that many people actually listen. It depends on the episodes I do. I know. Actually, I don't know.
Right.
I
like to say right? Yeah. Yeah,
it's hard for me to really say. I don't even know. Like this whole thing was.
Well, no, because I'm always curious. Like, I mean, it's I'm because we're like we're part of like this like I hate saying this, but like we're all part of like this dysfunctional family, and everybody does something in it, but it's like shit. Like I mean, you're interviewing me for last hour, like what got you into this? Like why do you want to
honestly
sit in your living room or basement and play music for 100 to 150 people every week or however often you put it out?
Honestly, it's funny. It was completely by accident. I back in the 90s, like I had a friend that like I grew up with in my neighborhood, and we went to a lot of ska shows. He actually like runs the Ska Crazy website. But what happened was we linked up. He moved to actually down to the DC area for a while, and we kind of parted ways. And I started finding out how fertile I was, and I wasn't going to shows by 2000. Like ska was non-existent, really. I wasn't going to shows. I wasn't really paying attention. And then a couple years ago, actually in about 2005, like, I heard an Agrolites album and was just like, oh, shit. Just started, like, listening to it again and was just like, oh, my God, I forgot about this. Oh, what was I thinking? So like, fast forward a couple years, he moved back up to PA. And, so we started playing, like, on Facebook. We would, like, just be posting, like, old Pie Tasters videos, like, oh, remember this, on each other's walls. And I started the page on Facebook kind of as, like, just a place for us to go because people were starting to complain about all the ska that was clogging up their news feeds.
Yeah.
And then just people just, like, it seemed overnight. A lot of people just started liking the page from out of nowhere. And it was just like, oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
Okay, and it just kind of grew from there. There was actually one of 23 Minutes, Brian's friends, Jim, he does the Ska Geek podcast. And he was one of the people that actually liked the page, and I was posting all these videos, and he's like, yo, oh my God, it's like you're posting stuff from my brain.
Right.
And I saw that he did a podcast, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, it's one of them, like, I can fucking do that.
Right.
Like, you know, and I like doing it.
Yeah.
I know, sometimes I honestly think I've almost called it quits a bunch of times. And I'm like, I think I'm only really doing this to please myself. Like, I don't.
You know what, dude? It's both, and you know, it doesn't. I wouldn't say it doesn't matter what you do, but yeah, when you're doing something, you know, that really is kind of a labor of love, like you have that because I go through it too. Like, I mean, if left to my own devices, I'd probably edit myself to where you would never hear anything out of my mouth or read anything from me or, you know, hear anything that we you know, from a band I'm in or anything, just because it's, you know, it's like, why am I doing this? You know, what good is this? You know, I'm not good enough. You know, I'm not good like everybody else. You know,
yeah.
You go through all this and it's like nobody's listening anyways. You know, but yeah, no, but it's both. I think it's good to do. You know, you get that little bit of like, yeah, you know, I'm doing something that people wish they could do and they're not, and so that feels good. But then, you know, you're also you can affect, you know, infect sometimes, but you might want to scratch that. But you can affect somebody who you don't know, and then that thing that you got, you know, whatever bug you got, now they have, and it lives on, you know, and that's cool. So yeah, like it's
yeah, that's kind of
yeah.
And it was,
yeah, I mean, I think it's great. You know, it then, you know, I don't know, like it's so weird because the back and forth, like, you know, try to be, you know, and then you try not to be judgmental and everything, and I think. In the generally speaking, it's all very good, and it's good to have that type, that, you know, like that outlet, even if it's just for yourself, you know. But it's good that, you know, like these are some of the most loyal, you know, I mean, you know, whoever's listening to this is probably some of the most loyal people, you know, into any form of art, you know, like ska reggae fans, like, you know, it's a weird thing, man, because like. You know, first of all, understand that we're all, you know, if you're our age, because I think we're about the same age. If you're our age, you realize that we were, even though there was really good music that was part of it, we were part of the disco of the 90s. You know, so it's, you know, like understanding that, like, you know, there was a crash and it was kind of gone and the whole thing was, you know, was dead, and that it still manages to thrive. You know, still manages. I don't think it's ever going to be what it was before, and actually, I hope it's not. Like,
I feel the same way. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, you know what? If this is going to get edited out because I don't like saying stuff like this, I mean, even though it's how I actually feel, but
don't edit this out. Let me see. No, because back then, and we're not even, because I know the easy go-to is that, you know, like third wave and you know, and huge money and Save Ferris and record labels, they all destroyed our scene. But there was also it was appealing to people who weren't into it anyways. And so it's not like, oh, they infected us with bad music. Like, that was just a symptom of it being a trend, being like disco, where, there are good disco bands, and disco lived on.
Oh, exactly.
It was called New Wave. But yeah, it lived on. It's so funny, like, everybody's like, oh, fuck disco, but yeah, Depeche Mode's awesome, New Order's awesome. It's like, are you listening to the beats that they're kicking down? Like, that's disco. So
yeah, even later, some of the later special stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was some interesting stuff there too. And then even into the 90s, like, I mean, it's funny. It's like, if you actually start listening to like music and not looking at who's putting it out. Like, I mean, remember that? What was that fucking song? The Cardigans. That's like that was like right out of like 1977. It was like a top 5 hit. And I was like, this is fucking disco. I thought disco was dead. So, and it's the same thing with our music. Like, it's still there. Like, you'll hear it, like, oh wow, what is that? Like, you'll hear it in like in a top 40 song. It's just not gonna be this superficial movement that it was before. And that's good.
I hope not. Like, that's something that really annoyed me in the later 90s was, I heard, like, the thing I really don't like is when you hear not a trace of Jamaican influence in a band that calls themselves ska. And you're like, isn't that, like, shouldn't you be arrested for false advertisement or something? Like,
yeah, I think, it's still, like, it's still such a sore subject because, you're doing it and I'm kind of doing it, like, you almost start you're self-censoring yourself. But it's like, actually, no, you know what? F them. Like, at the end of the day, like, and the only thing, and they're all gone, by the way. I mean, there's very few remnants of that from back then. The only thing that drives me nuts, if anything, is when, like, a kid comes to the show, whatever show may be, or you meet somebody who's into ska, and they're almost pining for that superficial crap to come back.
right.
And, like, that's the only time where I'm like, you know what, kid, like, it wasn't that good. And then, you go online and that these kids are in their 20s or younger talking about the good old days, and it's like, you know what, the 90s were not that great. There was 500 bands and, 20 of them were good. And now there's like 50 bands and 20 of them are good. So if the music now is better than it was then.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I don't know. Like, yeah, there's a lot. Like, when I see that superficiality and then the kids like kind of pining for it, it's like, I know what it is. I had it too. You're band geek, you're a loner. You want that, kinship and then to have like all these people into the same thing that you're into, but you're not cool. You're the anti-hero.
Right.
So, like, I get all that, but it wasn't that awesome, kids. I'm telling you, the 90s kind of fucking sucked. It was really, it was one bad band after the other, and they were on the radio to make matters worse. And you couldn't, like, you didn't have the selection ability now to like turn it off. Like, it was like, oh great, that same song fucking over and over and over. It was so annoying, and then those were, so then you become the elitist, which is just as annoying. And so then you're like, you guys don't know what the real deal is, right? And so then, so like that's like, okay, so that's like 1998, 99, right? And so then like the internet comes along, you're like, that's going to save everything because people will actually be able to look up and understand the history and everything. Nah, no different. It changed nothing. Like people like, you're trying to explain to a kid that's in that mindset that there's something, they don't care about that. They want something, they want to identify with something right here, right now, and have 1,000 of their closest friends, loving every second of it. And I get all that. It's just, I really hope it doesn't repeat itself. I don't want to see that ever again.
All right, I hate to cut this short, but
sure.
In a couple minutes, I actually got to get on here with Vic Rice.
Oh yeah.
So, real quick, when
we didn't even talk about the album, did we?
That's what makes it awesome.
Yeah. Everybody.
When it does come out, how can people get their hands on it?
I haven't really figured that out, man. Like, I think I know I've been talking with Jeff about carrying it and seeing how it's going, and Django's always been really good to me, over the years, and just So I think we're gonna try to, it's not on Stubborn, but we're gonna sell it through Stubborn for now. I think we're gonna test that out. And then I think because Manolo's got the connections in Spain and in Europe, we're gonna have a couple of distributors there. But other than that, I think you're gonna have to come see us play, as horrible as it sounds.
Okay, well, if anybody out there that listens actually takes my advice about anything, definitely get your hands on this 10-inch. Like, it has literally not been out of rotation since I got it.
It's the best thing.
It's incredible. Like,
I am super proud of it. I think if you like. I really feel like we've kind of established like a shifter sound. Whether you like it or not, that's a matter of opinion. But like we're trying to do something in the vein of traditional rock steady, a little bit of skinhead reggae, and I'm super proud of this. I think it's one of the better albums to definitely come along in a while, and I'm so happy to be a part of it, and I'm so grateful to be in this band. So please, keep an eye, like us on Facebook. Well, I'm gonna figure out a way to get this out. Hit me up. Worst comes to worst, I'll do snail mail. But yeah, like, well, we're figuring this thing. And just going back to what we were talking about before, I didn't expect to have a record. So that was the thing, is like, when the Kickstarter thing actually happened, it was like, oh shit, like, and then the work just ramped up from there. So we're getting the record out, having the record release party, doing all these things. In the next couple of weeks, we'll definitely have some avenues for people to get be definitely Stubborn though. Go check out, buy shit from Stubborn anyways. Fucking Jeff's a one-man machine over there.
Yeah, he's like at the core of it all.
Yeah.
Out here on the East Coast at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Keith, thank you so much for doing this. It's definitely been an awesome talk.
Yeah. Let's do it again. Come down and see us, man. You ain't that far away.
Nah, not at all. I actually wish I didn't. I actually thought you guys were playing last night. I just realized today that the Heavy Beat were down there, and I was like, oh man, I probably should have been at that show.
Those guys are great. I mean, and I don't know who's going to have the last word here. If you're wondering, what you can do, go find a local band. If there isn't a local band, start a local band. And if there isn't a place for them to play, start hosting nights or start a club. We can keep this thing going. It's not just about my band. Like, I mean, I think that we're kind of at the bottom of the barrel now, and it's kind of weird to be releasing a record right then and there. And I hope it doesn't get any worse. But if everybody can do something, even if it's just going to a show. I mean, like the amount of cynicism, with everybody in the scene and the different genres and subgenres is at an all-time high. Just go out and check out bands. That's the best thing you can possibly do. It keeps art alive.
Okay, I'm going to post some links to, I guess, your Facebook page and stuff like that in the episode description, so people definitely go check that out and check out their page. I'm gonna take it out with a couple more tracks off the EP. And once again, Keith, thank you so much.
No problem, brother. I'll see you
until the next time.
Yeah. Cheers.